What is up, guys? Al27HD here. I'm bringing you my promised review of Kick-Ass 2. Went to the cinema tonight to see it, so I am fresh out of the cinema and only saw it a couple of hours ago. A little bit of info first. This follows on from the 2010 film Kick-Ass, and it basically follows the life of Dave and Mindy, aka Kick-Ass and Hit Girl. I will go into this review on the assumption that you have seen the original, so I'm not going to be giving you any spoilers, on this film, but obviously I have to assume that you have seen the original, so you know of these characters, etc., etc. This film is directed by Jeff Woodlow, and Jeff Woodlow directed the movie Never Back Down. The original movie director, which is Matthew Vaughn, is now producer on this film. Matthew Vaughn of obviously Kick-Ass fame. He has also directed Layer Cake with Daniel Craig, and he also directed the X-Men First Class. He also sits alongside Brad Pitt, believe it or not, in the producer role for this movie. So what can you expect? Well, it is a very bloody film. It is a very violent film, and it is a very funny and vulgar film. Much like the first one, guys. What happens is we pick up the film. Hit Girl is basically, or Mindy as she is known, is staying with her new guardian, and she is sneaking out of school and carrying out her crime-fighting duties as Hit Girl, as promised to her father in the first one. Dave, who's played by Aaron Taylor-Johnson once again, Kick-Ass, is he's in school. He's put the costume behind him. It's set a few years after the original, but he is feeling isolated. He's feeling alone. He wants to get back into it. He wants to get the cape back in, so he enlists the help of Hit Girl to basically get back on the horse, get back into training, and as he points out, she is the closest thing that he knows to a superhero. First and foremost, the actors are fantastic in this film. Aaron Taylor-Johnson is superb and thoroughly believable as Kick-Ass. Also, Mortez is fantastic. Chloe Grace Moretz is fantastic as Hit Girl. Hit Girl, for me, steals the show, or Mindy as she's known as non-superhero guys, steals the show in this film. And she's only about 16, 15, 16. I think she was like 12, 13 when she starred in the original. She is superb in this. The beauty we have is that the original roles, we've already seen the first film, or the lion's share of you will have seen the first film, so we know these characters. We don't have to spend half the film learning who they are, learning what makes them tick, which means we can get straight into the action. Also, the fantastic Christopher Mintz-Plasse is back. You'll know him as McLovin, as what was formerly Red Mist. He is now back as, get this, the motherfucker. So his aim is to get an evil band together to take out Kick-Ass, and in the meantime, Kick-Ass joins the wonderful Jim Carrey as Colonel Stars and Stripes to set up his own superhero group called the Justice Forever. So you have this good mix of kind of the good kind of Justice Forever team versus the bad guy team led by the motherfucker. Obviously, fireworks are going to ensue. What did I like about this film? I really enjoyed the kind of cartoon, over-the-top violence. This is a violent film, guys. It is a bloody film, but it is also a very, very funny film. It's almost a film that isn't quite sure. It does carry on from the first one. I don't think that Woodlow has the same kind of panache and style of the original director Matthew Vaughn, although with Vaughn at the helm as producer, he does kind of keep it under control. The issue you do have is there's a lot of shaky cam action, which obviously you didn't get in the first film. It was quite solid, and although it was fast-paced action, it was quite solid and well-grounded. In this, there is a little bit of that kind of shaky cam, fast action, which I'm not a massive fan of, to be honest. I like my action framed, and I like to see what's going on. A little bit with the Transformers movie, it's a little bit too quick, and you're not quite sure what is going on action-wise, although you are sure there's pretty damn good choreography going on in the meantime. So the story progresses, the groups get together, and basically there is a lot of encounters, there's a lot of to and fro, and behind all this and in the background you have the kind of the battle for identity. Hit Girl is trying to fit in school. She's trying to be a normal girl, and there's about 20 minutes of scenes with Hit Girls, i.e. Mindy, trying to fit in with the cool kids at school, and it works really well. It is nice to see. In the original, you saw a lot of Hit Girl and didn't see that much Mindy. In this, there is a lot of Mindy, and it is good to see her kind of trying to get through high school, trying to cope, using some of her skills to impress people in high school and that kind of thing. That is a real good, solid part of the movie. It's a bit of a light relief to the violence, although some of the one-liners in this film are fantastic, guys. I do think that Jim Carrey is underused, which is surprising given the size and caliber of the actor. I think that maybe he is underused and could be used more. He has a dog called Eisenhower who he basically just sets on bad guys' nuts. You may have seen in the trailer the bit where he goes, "Oh, you've got a dog on your balls." Probably not in that accent, but you get the idea. And it is just very funny. The dog steals the show. It has its own superhero mask and everything, and it just basically goes for people's cocks. And that in itself is funny. There is a lot of humour laced through this. But it doesn't hold punches. That's why I quite like the original. It is a heavy hitter, and it doesn't shy away from the violence. It doesn't shy away. It's not the kind of your Superman where there's lots of punching happening, but there's not much blood. There's not much consequence to the punches. And like Avengers Assemble, people beat fuck out of each other, and there's virtually nothing to show for it afterwards. With this, you get stabbed, you get hit, you get punched, you feel it, and you can see it on the characters' faces. You can see it on the kind of messed up that they are after these encounters occur. So it is nice that they don't shy away, they don't turn away. People don't get tied up in this film. People don't get dropped off at the police station. They get stabbed, shot, and taken out. And I really like that. I think that it holds some real weight in keeping the film in the real world, so to speak, as near as you can with a film like this. One big thing for you guys, a lot of you may have missed this. There is a secret scene at the end of the credits. Some of you have may gone into the cinema. I stayed back throughout the 10-12 minutes of credits, and there is a scene at the very end. I won't give it away to you guys, but if you're going to the cinema to see this film, sit through the credits. There is a scene at the very end that a lot of people will have missed. So what would I give it score-wise? Is it as good as the original? I think that it is close to being as good as the original. It has had very mixed reviews, guys. Some people have thought it is fantastic. Other people have said that it is kind of misplaced. I like the vulgarity. I like the swearing. I like the dirty humour. There's some sex in this film. There's a hell of a lot of violence, and there's a hell of a lot of funny vulgarity. And to me, it was very, very enjoyable throughout. I laughed, I winced, and I generally loved my way through this film. And I think it is a good solid 7.5, maybe at a push an 8 out of 10. It isn't a film that's going to be remembered in 20 years' time, which the first one may well be, because it was groundbreaking in 2010. A lot of the old ground that it did break, that first scene where Hit Girl enters the room in the first one and calls them cunts, is just classic for me. When it happened on screen, and remember she was only 10, 12 at the time, I just laughed my ass off because it was so fucking out of there. It was fantastic. So something well worth checking out, guys, and I think a good solid 7.5 out of 10. Hopefully you've enjoyed the review, guys, and I would well recommend you check it out. It's possibly the funnest film that I have seen this year, not necessarily the best. Take care, guys. Like, sub, comment, and catch you later.